Hello, welcome back to the Claret Blue podcast, live this afternoon on Facebook and YouTube. My name is Dan Ronitz and I'm joined as ever by Ashley Priest. Ash, how are you, mate?
Dan, how are you, mate? I'm good, all good. Turned 30 last week, so getting on a bit now.
Many happy returns, mate. How was it?
Yeah, very good. Yeah, considering pubs are shut, had a good time.
Good stuff, good stuff. Well, we're here today to talk about Aston Villa's player of 2020. Now, I've put in the caption of this video. There's pretty much an obvious standout candidate, isn't there? Obviously, Mr. Jack Grealish is probably going to take home the accolade, but we've put forward 4 nominees for Aston Villa's player of 2020. This afternoon, we want to discuss them one by one and also get your feedback as well, people watching. So if you want to watch along and leave a comment, you can do so, get involved in the debate, and you can also head over to the Birmingham Live website and cast your vote. More importantly, there's a national vote as well, which Jack Grealish is nominated for, so we'll talk about that a little bit at the end as well. I'm going to run the propaganda train for Jack Grealish to win the national award, because why not? So we'll start with the first one, then our first of the 4 nominees, and it's Mr. Douglas Luiz. How impressive has he been in 2020, Ash?
Incredible, absolutely incredible. He's the key reason why Villa stayed up for me. Douglas Luiz throughout Project Restart, such a key member of the Smith squad, and he's continuing that this year as well. So looks every bit a big league player. I think it's a bargain. What Villa got from him in the end, 15 million quid. Fully fledged Brazilian international now as well. I can't stress his importance to the Villa team. Just being that base in midfield for when the likes of Barkley and Grealish run riot. But going back to last season and Douglas's importance, Dean Smith said it himself. He was Villa's best player throughout that 10-game survival run, and I echo those thoughts. And he should be amongst this list for sure. And we'll go on to the candidates in a minute, but I think he pushes Jack Grealish the most for me, Douglas Luiz.
Yeah.
He can often go unnoticed, can't he? He's not at the forefront of attacks or anything like that, but his importance, just anchoring that midfield and making sure things are ticking along nicely and keeping the ball and winning second balls and stuff like that. Fantastic. So, yeah, Douglas Luiz, proper player, and rightly amongst this list, yeah.
Yeah, he's an interesting one, isn't he? Because he had this, not a weird season, but there was times where some people weren't quite sure what he brought to the team, while others were looking at the same 90 minutes and going, he's an amazing player, like he's a quality footballer.
Yeah.
Like you said, a bargain, 15 million, Pep will come calling back for him. He then goes on to earn a Brazil call-up and plays for them now, which, I mean, an Aston Villa footballer as a Brazilian international is a nice thing to say. But he really did improve, didn't he? As much as I did like him throughout the whole season. There was times we did podcasts when we first started back in November, December, where we were going, is Douglas Luiz doing enough to be a consistent pick for Dean Smith? Should Harraham be back in there? And then you look at that debate now, 12 months on, and go, Douglas Luiz is one of the first names on the team sheet, isn't he?
He sure is, definitely. Dean Smith made a big point of Douglas Luiz arriving 2 days before Tottenham last season on the opening day, and kind of played that day, didn't he? And then kind of might have been dropped straight away for the Bournemouth game at home, I think, because Douglas scored that screamer, didn't he? So yeah, Douglas was straight in after that, and even not having a full pre-season behind him, and he was new to the Premier League, Douglas, like many Villa players were, and he found it tough going, especially like dallying on the ball too much. You get that time in Spain when he was on loan at Girona, and a bit of a luxury player, wasn't he? And fans and even me alike were saying, this kid ain't up to much, he's a bit of a flash pony kind of thing, but he really come into his own after lockdown, got himself fit and in shape, and that paid dividends. So after a slow start, he really got going, and now I think the comments are flooding in on here, suggesting Douglas Luiz is like one of the key men in our team and biggest unsung hero, like Philip just says, and I echo those thoughts, and I'm sure Dean Smith and the coaching staff and the teammates would all say the same, yeah.
Yeah, interesting point from Kimmy here as well. I heard that he learned English over the break during lockdown, so he was able to understand more on the pitch. I think there was a comment that John McGinn made about him, or he made about John McGinn not being able to understand him, or something like that. I don't know if that was a true story or not, but he did improve so much during that lockdown period, and like Philip says, an unsung hero to an extent, because he does go under the radar a bit, and that's natural for that position, isn't it? To be a bit more of a defensive midfielder, you don't get the plaudits that a Jack Grealish gets.
Yes. Like, I think Rich covered the player ratings at West Ham the other day, and he marked Douglas Luiz quite low. But it's so hard to just follow Douglas Luiz in game kind of thing, because obviously you're looking at Grealish's and your Watkins to do all the damage, and he goes unnoticed, as a lot of people realise. So, like I say, yeah, he's just pivotal for Villa moving forward. Is Douglas.
So the second player on this list is Mr. Tyrone Mings. I don't know why I keep saying Mr. before I do these, but yeah, Tyrone Mings is on this list. Possibly harsh that his centre-back partner, Ezri Konsa, isn't on the list. I'll reveal that to spoil the last one. Tyrone Mings has had a great year in 2020 as a whole. Yes, his performances aren't quite up to his usual standard as of late, but he helped Villa survive. He was important in that back four. He's got his England call up. He's been a leader and a good character off the pitch. So I think he deserves to be in this four. And I think but then I'm interested to see what people think. Is that harsh on Ezri Konsa? Because I feel like in a four-man shortlist, you don't want two centre-halves in there. So it was Mings or Konsa. I feel like we felt as a team. So what made you decide to go for Mings over Konsa?
Nothing to do with on the pitch, just off the pitch for me. Personal reasons for Mings. You're standing up for mental health, talking with Prince William, which I found was credible and speaks so well for such still a young man.
Yeah,
went to the Black Lives Matter movement in Birmingham, spoke candidly about that and where he's come from, his journey to now. Just being a role model for supporters and and supporters and fans. And for me, it's more personal off the pitch and what's going on this year. I know he does a lot of charity work as well, and perhaps I was a bit. I don't know. I do feel for Ezri Konsa missing out on this shortlist, but I just went with Mings for what a crazy year it's been. I think he spoke so well, and he's become like a leading figure for Villa.
Yeah,
over his time, and I think he was at an England press conference most recently, and Greg Clark resigned over them racist remarks, and Mings was asked that question straight away. What do you think of it? Greg Clark resigning, and
just kind of on the spot as well, wasn't it? That
on the spot, yeah. I just thought he was so good, and Villa fans and everyone associated with Villa should be so proud to have Mings on the team and being a part of them. So that's why he got my vote for me, just personal reasons and the way he carries himself. But Konsa, yeah, I think performance-wise, Konsa's outdoing Mings for me at the moment. And yeah, I can't fault the pair of them, to be fair.
Yeah, I think that's probably a quite an interesting point. I'm not going to sit here and hide my admiration of Tyrone Mings, the man and the person, because obviously I've had dealings with him in the past that people know about. Lovely guy. But also, as much as his performances have dipped of late and the odd game in 2020, he's still a good footballer. He's still done enough to get called up to the England squad and play for England and play well for England. Yes, he'll make a mistake every so often, but that's kind of, I think we've said before, that's the price that you pay for if he's doing a little Cruyff turn in the edge of the area. Occasionally when that comes off and he pings an 80-yard ball up to Jack Grealish, that's amazing and it works well. You're going to get caught out from time to time if you do stuff like that. I think there's probably a little bit of decision making that needs to improve a little bit, and that will hopefully come with time. But like you said, when you look at him and Konsa now, there's a time when you sign Ezri Konsa for 12 million or so and you think, oh, well, he might be a backup player, one for the future, that kind of thing. Tyrone Mings is still the main man. You look at it 12 months on, 18 months on, and Ezri Konsa's the main man at the back there out of the two of them on the pitch. In terms of performances, I think Ezri Konsa is the better centre-half of the two at the moment. But as you've said many times, being in the ground, you can't understate how important Mings is vocally and leading the team as well. That's an important factor.
Incredibly so vocal. He glues them all together. He's the real captain for me. Yes, Jack Grealish does influences with the ball at his feet and his performances, but Mings, in terms of making sure everyone's concentrated on the metal, he's the man. He gets the utmost out of everybody, and they all follow in line with that as well. And yeah, Mings and Konsa, they're both adding goals to the game now as well, which is benefiting Villa, especially from set pieces. So a pair of them are doing well for me. Yes, we've lost 3 out of the last 4 currently, but I think overall defensively they're better. And Mings and Konsa have had a full year in the Premier League now, and that's beginning to show. So yeah, both young players and hopefully the centre backs for a long time in a Villa shirt. Yeah.
Third on the list, the obvious standout contender for winner of this accolade, Jack Grealish. You can't make an Aston Villa Player of the Year award without mentioning this guy, can you? Captain, leader, inspiration, hero, icon, whatever tag you want to give the guy. He's a incredible player on the pitch. He's someone that you love to see with Aston Villa. You're proud of him. It's somebody that you're happy to represent the club. I mean, I don't know how far we can go with the Jack Grealish propaganda and the loving, because you run out of words to describe him, don't you?
Overrated.
Diver.
Yeah, best player in a long time in a Villa shirt, and for me, like watching him week in, week out, there's not many two better in world football at the moment. He's that form-wise. he showed that against Belgium in an England shirt, and he showed it in his most recent performance of Villa down at West Ham with that great goal from range, and just running out of words to describe his brilliance, and long may that continue. So yeah, very special player. We're lucky to have him, and he's knuckling down. And it's crazy to think this time last year he was struggling in a Villa shirt somewhat after a start at Tottenham where he dallied on the ball, White Spurs, and he started in central midfield alongside McGinn and Horahan. It weren't really working, but Smith put him in that inside forward left position. He's become famous for, and he's just been brilliant ever since, hasn't he? And this season he's taking it to new levels, and scary player. The reports recently, 100+ million. He's now valued at, and the rest for me.
Yeah, same.
He's one of the best players in world football. It's a fact. So
there's a comment. I can't remember where it came from, but it's something like Aston Villa now value Jack Grealish at 100 million. So I valued him at 100 million last summer, and the summer before that. That's not a new thing to say he's now worth 100 million. To Villa, he's priceless, isn't he? And this is what fans of other clubs don't understand when they see headlines like Jack Grealish worth 100 million and think, well, he's not the most expensive footballer in record break or whatever. He's up there with Gareth Bale and Eden Hazard and people like that. But to Villa, he's priceless. You couldn't replace him. I wouldn't want 100 million instead of Jack Grealish. I think Andy Gray said the other day about if you could pick Messi or Grealish, you'd pick Grealish to what he offers to a team, which is a crazy thing to say on the face of it. But from a Villa perspective, there's no one else I would rather have for Jack Grealish. I wouldn't swap him with anybody in the Premier League. And people might say, oh, De Bruyne this, De Bruyne that, or Mane or Salah, whoever. But I want Jack Grealish to be a Villa player forever. I know that might not happen. I'm not going to sit here and be cynical about what football is like. But as much as he's a brilliant player on the pitch, all of the added bonuses that go with that of him being captain and a Villa fan, and he understands us and he's living our dream, that's the icing on the cake that makes him irreplaceable for me.
Definitely, and his goals and assists are just going to rocket this year as well. And just watch him go at the Euros next summer as well. I think he'll be a star there for England, and the future's a bright one, put it that way, and putting it mildly. He can achieve what he wants to achieve, and I suppose playing in Europe will be on his bucket list, as it were. So can he do that with Villa? We sure hope so, Dan.
What do you think his ceiling is this year in terms of goals and assists? I think Monday Night Football were comparing him to Eden Hazard's best season, and so far he's pretty much on track to level that if he continued throughout the season. Something like, I don't know, 18 goals and 16 assists or whatever it was. Do you think Jack can achieve something like that with Villa, or does it depend on Villa having to have a good season as well?
Of course, Villa have to have a good season, definitely. You want double assists in both of them. I mean, double. You want 10 of each. Yeah. Double figures, yeah. Goals and assists for sure. So I'll be looking to build on that. Possibly, I might be looking to the stats, Ashley Young's stats when he was in his prime for Villa, and comparing that way and see if he can better that. I've spoke about Watkins possibly bettering Benteke's 19-goal record when he first arrived. So that'll be the targets players will have in the back of their minds, and they're wanting to smash. And judging on the start of this season and the big wins they've had, they're well on the way of doing that. So definitely, I think 10 goals and 10 assists will be the starting point for Jack, and anything extra will be a bonus. And with that, you got to say Villa will be getting points on the board. So yeah, I think Villa will be aiming for a top-half finish this year if they get back on track. Yeah, in the league, starting at Wolves this weekend.
We'll come on to Jack not being the sole focus of Aston Villa when we come to pick our winner, which probably feels inevitable, but we'll pick our fourth nominee first. And a little bit of a left field shout with Trezeguet being our fourth pick. Now, we could have gone with Ezri Konsa here as well, but like we said, we didn't want to put two centre-halves in there, and people might say, well, get rid of Mings and put Konsa in there. When you think back to Trezeguet, he's a player that probably divides opinion, and some people think, Trezeguet, what's he in a Player of the Year for? Why did we pick him? When you actually sit down and think about what he's contributed to Villa in the last 6 months or so, he deserves to be in here, doesn't he? I
think so, yeah. I think he helped Villa survive, didn't he? 3 goals in the last 4 games when Villa were down and out, really, and he popped up with 2 against Palace and 1 against Arsenal. And yeah, he got Villa over the line, didn't he? Without the goals as well, he worked so hard for the team. We've seen that at Leicester away this year. It sticks out. He was working with Matty Cash and doubling up on Harvey Barnes, and Villa got the results. And okay, he's not a Jack Grealish. You shouldn't be comparing him to Jack Grealish. He's someone different. He's more of a workhorse. Like he's just selfless in his approach, and I think the Villa players give him a bit of ribbing at Bollymore saying he runs from his house in town to training because just relentless worker, and his stats are top of the shop in terms of the sports science kind of things. He just doesn't stop running. Now he needs that end product to his game, as we all know. And we knew against Brighton he should have scored a couple against West Ham as well. Should have scored a couple there, but let's face it, he won the penalty, didn't he? So fair play for that. And just going back to last season as well, he got Villa into that Wembley final, didn't he? With that last minute goal against Leicester. And a bit of a specialist at popping up at the back post. But this season as well, he was at the back post against Arsenal, wasn't he? And that was an own goal given. So bit of a left field shout, as you say, but a key cog in this Villa side, given his attitude and application. Okay, he's not. I've said this. He's not your. I don't know. He's not your Grealish or star player in that sense, but he's valued and he's doing it, and he's ahead of your El Ghazis and Traores at the moment, and rightly so. So he's keeping them out of the team, and he'll be looking to kick on. There's no one more desperate to do well for Villa than Trezeguet himself. So I really hope he kicks on over the festive period and gets a couple of goals and gets that confidence up because he needs it.
Yeah, he's such an interesting character, Trezeguet. I've spoken on this podcast many times with Matt or with you or James or whoever, and not really rating him. I'm going to sit here and be honest. We put him up for a Player of the Year award, and I think I don't fully rate him. I don't buy into Trezeguet fully. I think he's better than El Ghazi, but I think that's more of a detriment to El Ghazi rather than praising Trezeguet. As people in the comments have just said, if he finished his chances, we'd be top of the league. He's had a lot of chances wasted, but like you said, if we're talking 2020 as a whole, helps us get to a cup final, and he scored some important goals to keep us in the league in the first place, and that can't be understated. So it's a difficult one. I think as of right now, he like you said, he's an important cog in this team, and I think Dean Smith values that and his work ethic. That combination that him and Matty Cash seem to have already, and that link-up play does look good. I think long term that'll be still a position Villa would want to rectify. You brought in Bertrand Traore, who you think would come in straight away and say, "Oh, well, he's an upgrade on Trezeguet. Trezeguet won't play this season," but he's come in, worked hard, kept his place, and Bertrand Traore can't get in the team because of that. So you have to give credit to him. I think that's probably why we just about put him on this list. Like I said, it could have been Ezri Konsa, and that might be harsh to leave him out. I think if this was a 5-man list, Konsa would be the 5th name on there for sure. But Trezeguet's worked hard, and you can't underestimate that kind of character in a dressing room. I think that's something that people will look up to. And like you said, he's not a Grealish in terms of ability. No one is. But in terms of a teammate, if I was playing with somebody like Trezeguet, I see him on the 90th minute still running up and down, I think, well, if he can do it, I can do it. I'll find something within myself. If he's working hard, I'll do the same. So I think that's what Dean Smith and the coaching staff probably value. And who are we to sit here and say, I don't rate him, he should do this, he should do that. The coaching team at Villa are to be trusted, and I think he should be playing every game for Villa. So I'll sit there and say I agree. Yeah,
definitely.
He also, as you just mentioned there about winning the penalty, he should have won that penalty against Brighton as well, that VAR overruled. So he's involved in key moments. He's very good at being in the right position and the right place at the right time, but he just needs to get his finishing boots on, doesn't he?
He does, big time.
What are the comments saying? So there's also a clip I wanted to play. I'm just trying to load it in at the moment, which we spoke to Mark Halsey in the week, and he spoke about that Brighton penalty, saying it should definitely have been a penalty. I was going to play that here, but it's not loaded in yet, so I'll do that if it comes up in a second. Sean Brady says it's not confidence he lacks, it's quality. It's not confidence he lacks quality, erratic, bad touch, and poor final decisions. But yes, a workhorse. Is that enough then to warrant a place in the team that you work hard? Do you have to do more than that? My instinct says yes, but then he does pop up with the odd goal here and there, so it's not like he just runs around and does nothing else. He is contributing. It's just, I think we all want a little bit more from him, I think is probably the synopsis.
Definitely. I don't know. I'll see what Sean comes back to this, but does Trezeguet start for you at the moment, or do you prefer Traore on the right? I think he's kept his place, and I think he'll continue to do that until otherwise. Really, Traore hasn't really grasped his chance yet. Okay, hasn't been given a fair crack at it after getting injured against Southampton, but El Ghazi's doing nothing, and Trezeguet's been the man that's been trusted. And like you say, Dan, if you've seen Trezeguet working hard for the team, and that feeds off, others feed off that in the team as well. So yes, he's not your 10-goal a season winger, but I think he's doing a job at the moment. He cost very little last year, £9 million, and I think his improvement's been really good, to be fair, from where he was at last year to now. I think he's earned his right to start week in, week out, and until Villa get a £50 million winger to on the right hand side that everyone's happy with. I think he'll continue to play there. I think he's keeping others out at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. Kimio says he's a starter, but only because there's no one better, which I agree with for now. And Sam said, I think with Trezeguet, he tries a little too hard. Once he gets that goal, he will get many more. He's just trying to force it a little bit, and that probably is a bit of a confidence thing, and I do agree with that. And also, we're picking 4 players here to win Player of the Year 2020. We've only got about 15 players to pick from. Some of them are only just joined this season, so he makes up the 4-man shortlist. I'm not going to sit here and make a case that he should win it, because that would be outrageous, but he deserves to be given a bit of credit, I think, and that's what this is for. Like I said earlier, we spoke to Mark Halsey last week on the podcast about the state of refereeing, VAR, and having looked through some of Villa's decisions. It's not related to Trezeguet as a footballer, but just because we've mentioned that penalty and VAR, I'm going to play a little clip here to promote that podcast.
I'm going to bring it in now. Trezeguet and Solly March, Villa Brighton. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Michael Oliver gives a penalty, real time, straight away, penalty. Okay, see the replay for me, from first replay. So still a penalty. People say, Solly March has got the ball. He hasn't made a chance. He hasn't got the ball. Trezeguet tries to flick the ball over him, and it comes on his shin. So he's not making no challenge. He's come closing down. Trezeguet's flicked it over, and he's still caught it. Anywhere else on the field play, it's a foul. So it happened in the penalty area. It's a foul and a penalty. As soon as the referee goes over to that monitor, he's under pressure, because I think they're being told in there, you've got that wrong. It's most probably a good tackle. He's won the ball. So straight away, he's under pressure. I'd like to see a referee be mentally tough, mentally strong, and say, no, do you know what? I'm sticking with my original decision.
A little bit off topic there, but thoughts on VAR?
Oh, God.
How long you got?
I know how long you got, yeah. Great podcast, that. Listening my way through it. Yeah, good guy, isn't he, Mark Halsey?
Yeah, really nice guy. I think a lot of people looked at that when we first announced it coming out and being like, oh, he's just going to stick up for former refs, Dermot Gallagher on Ref Watch on Sky Sports and all that kind of thing. He's just going to be in with his mates. But no, he's very outspoken about the refereeing in this country, and a really good guy as well. A few technical issues in there. We recorded for over an hour, but the podcast's only like 40 minutes long, so we had to cut so much out because of the connection. But he's very, very good. So do go and watch that if you've got half an hour of your time. It's it's not going to go out of date at any point. So it's worth a watch with no Villa until Saturday. Back to Player of the Year. We've got to pick a winner. Obviously, we want fans to get involved and pick their winner. There'll be a vote. There'll be a link, in the description of this video or this podcast or on the Facebook page, so you can go and cast your vote. Is it an obvious one to just say it's Jack Grealish and we move on?
Neil Taylor.
I can't believe he wasn't nominated.
God. Yeah, of course it is Captain Jack. Captain fantastic. Yeah.
Gotta be.
Yeah, it's got to be. He's won it in his own right. And just hope he can achieve what he wants to achieve this season and really kick on, because he makes a lot. He's like a big kid, as it were. He makes a lot of his game. He wants to hit them stats, and he's always asking to improve, and I really hope he can do that. And judging by the start he's had, he's well on his way to having a really memorable season now at the right end of the table. So, yeah, he's hoping Villa are going to benefit from that. So, Jack Grealish all the way. What a player.
Yeah, it has to be Jack, doesn't it? I'd be very surprised if nobody... I guess the point is then, I think we said earlier about Douglas Luiz, is he the person who would push Jack the closest? Let's say if it was Player of the Year minus Jack Grealish, who would win then?
Yeah, Douglas Luiz, just simply because of Project Restart and how important he was there. Just shutting up shop and making sure Villa were harder to beat, and Douglas Luiz was a key part of that for me. So, yeah, it'd be Douglas who'd be pushing Jack for me for that award.
All the comments so far, Jack, exclamation mark, agreed, Jack for me. Grealish got to be Player of the Year. Without him, we'd be down. Yeah, it's spot on, isn't it? I mean, it almost seems a little bit redundant to do a Player of the Year for Aston Villa when it's so obviously going to be Jack Grealish, but this is almost a little opportunity to reflect on the season and give a shout out to the other players. Like I said earlier when we spoke about Jack, if this was 12 months ago, when we were in the Championship, you'd be looking at Jack and no one else really. Jack is the main man. It's all about him. He's the star man. He's carried Aston Villa to promotion. He's carried them to survival. It's not like that now, is it? And as much as he's still a massive part of what Aston Villa do and what they're about, and most of the play goes through him, you've got Ross Barkley in there now, you've got Ollie Watkins. If this was a little bit further down, like if this was Player of the Season so far, they'd be in the conversation for this. Matty Cash, a great addition to Aston Villa this season. John McGinn getting back in there a little bit. it's not just about Jack Grealish anymore. And I think that's the important thing of why Villa have improved. It's more of a team unit this time around, and everyone's chipping in and doing their part.
To be fair, I don't think Jack was great in Project Restart.
Only the last couple of games, yeah.
His goal at West Ham was his first goal in 15 games.
Yeah.
That's pretty scary, isn't it, really? He wasn't great. So he come up trumps when we needed him most down at West Ham, and survived, and he's really kicked onto a new gear now. So I think they all deserve a mention. It's a massive team effort, what they did back in the summer to survive, and based on a good recruitment over the summer, they're kicking on once more. So, yeah, monumental team effort for me, headed by Dean Smith and the coaching staff, and just want to get back to winning ways as soon as, really, and hopefully this weekend we can do it.
I mentioned at the start of this that there's a fans football of the year across the entire of the Premier League. I'm going to screen share this, and hopefully I'll put the right tab on. Yes, you should be able to see that. So the fans football of the year is a 7-man shortlist that 100 journalists across the company all voted for. You and me both voted. I'll definitely put Jack Grealish in my top 3, I think it was.
I put him 3 times, didn't I?
Did you? Yeah, fair enough. So you can see the players there. I'll read them out for the audio listeners. You've got Jordan Henderson, Sadio Mane, Mohamed Salah, Virgil van Dijk, Marcus Rashford, Kevin De Bruyne and Jack Grealish are all going against each other for a national award, which will hopefully be presented as a nice little trophy for the player. So the link in the description that you can go to will take you to this page, Fans Football of the Year, vote for the Football of the Year or vote for your club. So if you choose your club, obviously we're going to go to Aston Villa, and I'm going to pick Jack Grealish, obviously. Vote for me, fill in your email, sorted. And then back to Fans Football of the Year. If I can go back, is there a way to go back? Yes, vote for my overall winner. So here are my overall winners. We're obviously going to sit here on a Villa podcast and say, let's vote for Jack. And I kind of want all Villa fans to come together and all vote for Jack and see if we can push him over the line for a national award, because why not? That's part of the fun. If you're not picking for Jack there, and we're just talking general Premier League for a second, who gets your vote there for player of 2020?
Marcus Rashford, all day long.
Yeah, good shout.
3 school meals and he's campaigning. Yeah, wins that all day long for me. Probably getting sports personality of the year as well. So yeah, I can't speak on for Marcus Rashford. He gets that, but footballing wise, you've got to say either Mane or De Bruyne, but Mane probably gets it in football terms.
Yeah, I think you're probably right there. I agree with both those. I think if I was picking my vote from a serious perspective, I would say Rashford, because yes, as much as he's a great player, the off the field stuff has been great. A few comments coming in for Kevin De Bruyne. I mean, all of those are worthy winners. It's not going to be Jack for a national award because not enough people value him, and he's not done anything like the other players, Liverpool winning the league, etc. But from a Villa perspective, and to try and rig a vote, I'm going to go and vote for Jack Grealish, and I encourage all other Villa fans to do the same. Let's see if we can get Jack Grealish to win a national award. But yeah, that's enough for today's little podcast, a little bonus episode about Player of the Year. The schedule for Christmas comes thick and fast, doesn't it? I know we get a game off with Newcastle being postponed, which I'm annoyed about because I miss football. It's Saturday, it's still the whole week till Villa comes back. I want to see us back in action, but we'll be back with plenty more content throughout the rest of the Christmas period. There's lots of games to cover. We've got a few things lined up. We've also got a player interview that we filmed a couple of weeks ago that hasn't even come out yet. So lots to do, lots to talk about. Thank you very much, Ash, for joining me this Monday afternoon. Thanks, everyone, for watching live on Facebook or YouTube. If you've caught up with this not live after the fact, do leave us a review on iTunes and send us some nice comments. That's all very much appreciated, especially at this time of year. Thank you very much. We'll see you soon.